Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. It's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
We got no volume. There we go. There it is. All right, we got volume. We got life. Okay, all right, that was just an odd deal. Like, all right, let's reset things now that we've got sound in our ears and on the air, and hopefully on the YouTube stream. If y'all on the YouTube, go ahead and give us a thumbs up if you can hear us. Think we're doing a lot better. So, reboot the whole deal. Friday edition, Hunt and Hill. We will visit with Luke Johnson here in 30 minutes. And we will talk a little bit about LSU and McNeese last night on the hardwood NFL schedule. That's at the end of hour number 1. Hour number 2, we'll talk about the Southeastern Conference, and of course, we're gonna settle in for some for LSU and ULM. So, J Hill, how we doing?
Doing solid, man. Other than volume here,
yeah, we had a little volume issue. That was an
we're
odd
back
deal.
Rolling now, so we're good.
All right, appreciate the boys, Casey Gaines and Taylor Sharp, getting things rolling. We want to start today talking about Coach O's press conference from yesterday. Gave some interesting nuggets about Garrett Nussmeier redshirting. We'll talk about that. Sage Ryan is expected to play. We'll talk about that. But the main line that really stopped me in my tracks was when Ed Ogeron told a story about Lane Kiffin speaking with him after the Ole Miss game. So this sounds a little bit longer. I know that it's long bites don't play as well, but I think we need to hear it in its entirety, and then we'll get to that. So, Casey, if you can crank it up. This is Coach O yesterday.
We weren't playing the run in our 4-3. We were playing 4-3. We were playing our basic coverage. And actually, I talked to Lane Kiffin, and he says, Coach, you know you're playing the same thing all the time. I said, I know. And it just sparked. When we played, when I was at Tennessee, we were playing what we call stick 33. So we put it in. There's some stuff that I ran with Pete. The 3-4 stuff is some stuff we ran with Pete, some stuff we ran with Dave. The players knew it. The zero blitzes, like I said, that was Kevin's call. He had done it at Cincinnati. You know, we came in and we put it in, and they've been working fantastic. And I know other guys are going to have answers. You know, when you zero blitz, you're playing strictly man-to-man. Nobody's in the post, so we got to be careful. But our players love it. They're more in attack. And we're playing the best defense we've played in a while here.
The first half of that clip just knocked my socks off. When he said, we're playing the 4-3, we're playing vanilla coverage, and I talked to Lane Kiffin after the game and said, Coach, you know you're playing the same thing every snap. What? Look, that is so far from my corner of the store. We talk about it all the time. I don't do X's and O's. It's not my thing. But that is the most damning quote I have heard in a press conference in a long time. And I just, the sports talk radio host in me says, man, keep this stuff coming. It's great content for us. The LSU fan in me says, can we cancel the press conferences the rest of the way? I don't want to listen to it anymore.
Yeah, and I've said this time and time again. I feel like since the UCLA game, I'm like, we line up in 4 down linemen, 2 backers on the second level, and man-to-man across the board, and we run it the whole game. It blew my mind. I was waiting for a nickel blitz, maybe a corner blitz, maybe just blitz our linebackers. We did none of the above. And I've said it, Coach Durante hasn't scratched everywhere we could scratch. I've seen that this Mike Zimmer defense, it's very multiple, especially on third down. There's a ton of blitzes that you have in that defense, and we just didn't see any of those blitzes. It took another head coach in the SEC to give you a breakdown of what you're doing after 8 or 9 games of football week in and week out, and a lot of those performances where your defense did not play well and you're getting your butts kicked. Man, I would say that's very shocking from this coaching staff, but at this point, when we got everything that's going on, it's not very shocking, man.
That's like 5th grade stuff. You got to get everybody. You got to make sure you got 11 guys on the field. All right, stand right here. When they snap it, go get how does that happen? How do you go through a spring, go through a summer, go through a fall camp, and 7 games into the year, an opposing coach says, you run the same thing every time. I'm blown away. I don't even have enough words to fill a segment with to go. I just don't get it. I don't understand. Yeah,
we talk about infrastructure. We talk about running a program right top to the bottom. When you start looking at, kind of what's been going on with this team on every aspect, especially, just how everything is being run so far, you can just look at it and see why you're not winning games. Obviously, I don't love the fact that you got 2 guys calling plays. We're letting parents, decide what quarterbacks are going to start and who's going to play. And then obviously we're getting advice on our calls from other coaches in the SEC. Yeah, we're 4-6 right now or something like that.
Yeah, so. 4-6. Well, it behooves Lane Kiffin for LSU to mix it up and try to go beat Alabama because he's trying to win the West and he needs Alabama to lose games. But sheesh.
Yeah, look, what can go wrong with this program this year has gone wrong. You've kind of seen the wheels officially start to fall off. You got your head coach talking about being a lame duck head coach. It's just not what you want to see, man. It's just a bad time. Obviously, it's probably has Scott, turning those wheels a lot faster than he was, and now I will definitely not be shocked. It may be after the A&M game. I don't think they'll wait after the SEC championship. I think if their guys is not playing in the playoff or a championship, I think they're gonna move a lot faster than I thought.
Well, I don't know that this changes much of that because I just think that when they can get their guy, they'll ink their guy, and that's just a matter of when the guy's willing to jump. But I'm trying to comprehend why you would run quote unquote the same thing over and over again because you don't think you can do anything else. You think that's good enough. I'm blown away. I really am.
Yeah, that was my first concern. I'm like, okay, maybe we got to be a little more vanilla because we got some guys in the lineup, who really, probably didn't expect to play, probably don't have a grasp on the defense. And then I reminded myself, a lot of those guys, especially with Sting being out, they ran a whole new strategy against Mississippi State. That was very early on in the season, and they grasped that pretty well. They stuck to it. We've seen what this Mississippi State offense has become throughout the rest of the season, and you hold them to under 24 points. So we've seen this defense, be able to change strategies, and so that's what kind of blew my mind for the rest of the season. Why aren't we changing much? Why are we just continuing to do the same things that hasn't worked? And you got teams like Kentucky running the ball down your throat, obviously Ole Miss with a hampered quarterback and a bunch of their weapons missing, having their way with you. It's just not what you want to see. It's a shame that it's took all this to get them to change things up. And hopefully with the changes we made on defense, we can possibly make a bowl game because that's really all there is left to play for at this point.
If they do, Garrett Nussmeier will not be playing in it. Ed Orgeron announced yesterday he will take his redshirt season. He's played in 4 games, cannot play in another one, so that'll be it for Garrett Nussmeier. Your thoughts on that decision?
It's fine. I think that's what you wanted to see. I have no quarrels with that. I think, going into that Arkansas game, obviously with Max not playing at the elite level that you want to see, you got another quarterback that you have faith in. You got to trot him out there. We're taking advice from other coaches on how to run our defense. We may as well throw a backup quarterback in there to see what he can do. And obviously, a couple of interceptions, obviously a big one when you couldn't have it. Get Max back out there and continue to do what we're doing. I'm not too upset with that.
So for me, I think it's the right decision for Garrett Nussmeier to optimize his entire college career. You need as many years as you can have because in this day and age, quarterbacks just go where they can play. And It may be at LSU. It may not be, but there's no reason to burn a year when you're not going to be the starting quarterback the next week, which they said Max would be it. So it's Garrett Nussmeier doesn't know who his offensive coordinator is going to be next year, doesn't know who his head coach is going to be next year. Options on the table are a good thing, and I think it's fair for him to do that. It's a 4-6 team. They've got a quarterback that they're going to give the starting nod to. You want to save a year of eligibility to make sure that you can play wherever it is that may be. I think that's totally fine. Somebody that is going to play, we certainly hope, is Sage Ryan, who has played very sparingly, got hurt in camp, got hurt again during the season. Sounds like he's back and ready to go. If you're trying and scrapping and clawing to find some reason to make this game interesting, you got to dig pretty deep. But I think Sage Ryan playing a little bit in the nickel, where hopefully he's got a bright future at LSU, would be one.
Oh, yeah. You definitely need guys like that for multiple reasons, which I'll get to here in a second. But you definitely need your young guys stepping up. And I think, getting Sage back at the nickel spot, now you feel good about the corners position. You got Flott on the outside. You got McLaughlin, who I think has played extremely well given the circumstances. And you got to get the next head coach some joy, man. You got to give him something to look forward to. So you got a couple young pups out there playing well. That'll be a little more enticing for the next guy coming over.
See, we're reaching. We are reaching out here for this ULM game. You want to come take this job? Look at Sage Ryan in the nickel. Let's look at that. That was impressive. There's Jack Besh running around. Come coach the Tigers. It's a tough sell down here in Baton Rouge here on a Friday. But look, it's another Saturday night in Tiger Stadium. If that's your thing, I love it. I'll be there. One more point that I will get to. We haven't talked about this, so I'm curious your thoughts. LSU's going to wear white helmets, purple jerseys, and white pants on Saturday. Your thoughts?
I mean, why not? Give the people something to look forward to. Obviously, I saw the Instagram post from LSU. It looks nice. Joe Burrow had the white helmet, purple jersey. Man, that's a guy to have on with the white jersey. I mean, the white helmet and purple jersey. But, I mean, there's not much to look forward to at this point. So I guess that's something that people are into that. Hey, come check out the white helmets and purple jerseys.
I'm 33 years old. I will be about 87 here in the next 20 seconds because I want you to take your white helmets and your white pants and get off my lawn. The Tigers have purple jerseys in this case, gold helmets and gold pants. We wear gold helmets and gold pants. I don't like being the alternative uniform team. I'm a cranky old man, and that's the way I feel, and I'm not going to change. But if the kids like it and they want to go play in it, have at it. I'm just going to be a grumpy old man sitting in the stadium going, this is not our uniforms.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, I guess it's the non-conference, luck, I guess. So we
We always wear purple in the non-conference, but I don't like the white helmets and the white pants. People love them, and they're like, oh, it looks so clean. The best look LSU's got. As Van Pelt said it. They ran a video. Look, I realize I'm wrong. There's sometimes you have a point. You know you're wrong, but it's just how you feel. I'm wrong. I want to stick with the classic uniforms. That's my feeling on it. They're not going to do it, and they won't consult me on it. And so they'll go out there and they'll play in the white helmets and white pants tomorrow. LSU and ULM at 8 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, Eagle 98.1. Game day, Matt and Jeremy will get it cranked up. I'll take over at 6 from just outside Tiger Stadium between the ramps of the PMAC in the TJ Ribbs Tiger One Village. It'll be myself, Brandon Taylor, and Marlon Favorite getting you ready for an 8 o'clock kickoff. We'll be on after the game, about 30 minutes after it goes final for an hour, 90 minutes after. Con and Hannegriff from right here, probably at 2 o'clock in the morning. So good luck to those guys and whoever's producing that show after we go to sleep. All right, let's take a time out. Come back. We'll talk LSU and McNeese basketball. That's next on Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Reminder about FanDuel. Look, the app is not live, so you can't place any bets on it right now, but that's good. You know why that's good? Because you can download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. They'll give you $100 in free credits. Can't just take the $100 out. You do have to bet it. We can multiply that thing. They've got odds boosters, super boosters on the weekend. Obviously, you can get to your live betting when that goes live. FanDuel is the #1 sports betting app in the United States. Be a part of it. It's safe, secure, 100% legal, and regulated. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Register now. $100 in free site credits when you put in the promo code WNXX. That's our call letters here. WNXX. That'll get you that $100 in free site credits from the FanDuel Sportsbook. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. The bonus is issued on a non-withdrawable site credit. It expires 7 days after the FanDuel accepts its first real money sports wager in Louisiana. Unique user identity verification required. Offer ends on the go live date. The restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for a Football Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We'll preview the biggest games of the weekend with Phil Steele. The Riot Radio Hours return. Join us Friday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Luke Johnson coming up shortly, talking Saints and Eagles. He'll be up in Philly covering the Hoodats as they need to get this one. Got the Cowboys and Bills on deck. Need to go up to Philly and get a win. We'll talk to Luke about it here in about 15 minutes from right now. LSU and McNeese on the hardwood last night in the PMAC. Look, there are 3 body bag games on this schedule. Now we've played 2 of them. There's only 1 left with Northwestern State, and I'm very glad, because there's just not a lot to take from these games when you are so superior everywhere on the floor. But as you look at the stat sheet, as you look at the highlights, you look at what we saw last night on the floor, anything jump out to you from LSU and McNeese?
Yeah, I think the defense, obviously it's a McNeese, but I think that's what's been jumping out in every game, especially when they really needed to get stops and really go on those stretch runs. The defense is really locking in, and I think you have that good of a defense because you have so many multiple defenders, guys who can really guard the 1 through the 4, a lot of guys who can, guard probably the 2 through the 5 with some of our bigs. And I think that's something that you can't simulate. Obviously, the amount of turnovers they created yesterday, 27 of them, you can't just draw that up. That's defense and being able to play it and guard multiple positions. So that's the one thing that I think this team can hang their hat on for the rest of the season.
There's no question this team is very active defensively. There's no question they forced a lot of turnovers early in the season. Yeah, 27 last night. McNeese at one point in the first half went 1 of 17 shooting. They're just a horrific offensive basketball team. That's just the long and short of it. I love the people like Charles. I love a Daryl Special. Played some golf at a couple of courses over there I really like. LeBear's is a great spot to go play some wagers. McNeese is awful. And so it's just hard for me to pull a ton. But I did like some of what I saw. Tari Eason had 19 points in the game. He was 8 of 13 shooting. And he missed let's see, where is it? He missed 4 threes, so he only missed 1 2-point shot. He is a much more capable driver than I had seen. When you look at the tape and the highlights that I saw from Cincinnati, you saw a guy that was blocking some shots. You saw a guy that was making some elbow jumpers, some putbacks, lobs, that kind of stuff. He is very capable of taking the ball from the wing, driving it in and throwing it down or getting to the rim and putting it off the glass. That's not an aspect of his game that I thought that he had. He is a better offensive player than I thought.
Yeah, he definitely is. And I think he can definitely probably be that sixth man that you can count on for energy off the bench, for obviously probably going to be your highest scorer other than Gaines coming off the bench. So that's what you're going to need. Obviously, you want your starting five to, play extremely well and have a good plus minus. But I think the energy Tari's bringing on both sides of the court is something that Coach Way is definitely going to depend on for the rest of this season.
Pinson played 24 minutes in the game, and Gaines played 23 minutes. So they played just over a half, basically. Pinson had 8 assists and Gaines had 6. Mm-hmm. That is a new aspect to this team that has not been in Will Wade's arsenal since really he got here, is guys that are really distribute first guys. The point guards have been Javonte, who's a slashing, scoring, shooting threat first. Skylar, who was a scorer and became a really good shooter towards the end of his career. We know about Tremont Waters and what he did. These guys are passers first, and that is a refreshing thing. And they're not forcing shots. They're letting the game come to them. I wish that Pinson would have knocked down a couple more of those shots. He did hit the one wide-open 3. He got a couple other good looks and didn't make them. Gaines got a wide-open 3, made that one. They'll shoot it when they're wide open, but they're not forcing it, which I really, really like. I do this podcast. I've done it daily for 3.5 years now, and I get all the time, we need a true point guard. We need a true point guard. We need a true point guard. Well, you got a couple of guys out there right now who are really good threats at dishing the ball. And then I got a comment on the podcast, which isn't crazy, but I got a comment on the podcast today that said, hey, they don't have a scoring guard. Like, that's a big problem. It's like, what do you want? We can't get, we can't, we're not the Nets. We can't have, everything at one time. But it's refreshing to watch the way those guys are playing.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that I think that you see from Pinson and Gaines is their ability to break you down from the perimeter, whether it's off the ISO, whether it's off the pick and roll. They can get deep inside the paint and force you to have to make a decision. They both can finish at the goal at a good level for point guards who are under 6'3". And I think, their ability to continue to get open shots for their guys is something that this offense is going to need, especially when you're not shooting high percentages. You're going to need as many wide open looks as you can find. So we said, our 3-point percentage is possibly going to rear its ugly head. Obviously, you got to do that against McNeese, but you're going to need to be able to shoot a little higher percentage from the floor, and having guards who can get inside the paint and create and give guys open looks is what you're going to need to help that.
I thought watching the game real time, just sitting there, I was at the house watching, I'm going, man, they're taking way too many threes. And then I went back and looked at the stat sheet when the game was over. They didn't, only 12 of their first 20, this was the first half, and I was thinking that the second half was a blowout. I didn't care what they were doing. This is the first half. 12 of their first 29 shots were threes. That's not a crazy percentage of threes at this day and age. That's 12 threes, 17 twos. And then I kind of dug deeper, and the reason it felt that way is because of those 12 threes, they only made 3 of them, and they shot over 50% from 2. So when I'm watching, I'm going, they're shooting too many threes. The reason is because when they're shooting 2s, they're making it more often than not, and they're not making their 3s, and that's what makes it seem like you're taking bad shots. So it was one of those deals where I thought something in the moment, but it didn't necessarily bear itself out on the stat sheet. They're not going to be like Bama last year, or even like LSU for a lot of times last year, relying on the three heavily. I didn't think they were too reliant on the three last night. They didn't make very many of them, but I thought they did a reasonable job of getting the ball in the paint.
Yeah, that's going to be this team's strong suit. I think you got a multitude of guys who attack off the dribble. Fudge is a guy looking to get to the rim. Obviously, Easton can get to the rim. We know what Days can do. Obviously, both of the guards, Gaines and Pinson, can get to the rim. So that's going to be, the strong suit of this team. And I think when you got a 7-foot center in Efton who gets the ball on the block low, he's going to be able to finish around the goal too. So I'm not worried about them, getting into the paint, obviously scoring in fast break situations. It's just really maybe when you play in this SEC schedule, teams start getting in those zones. You're going to have shooting from the outside. They're not just going to let you get to the rim. So that's going to be the only kind of concern I have thus far. But the team is looking pretty solid, and I'm loving what I'm seeing from the defense.
LSU showed a couple of different defensive looks yesterday. They've basically been all year a team that just played man-to-man and switched everything. That's been kind of what they've done defensively, and for 96% of the game last night, that's what they were in. But they did show two other defenses. They showed a not deep into the half court, a full of all the half court. So starting at half court, a 1-3-1 that was kind of, they've got the length to do that, and the guys who can anticipate. Then McNeese hit a 3 on it. They came back down the next time, and they were in a 3-quarter court 2-2-1 trapping zone. So more than just trying to beat McNeese with it, it was, hey, let's work on it and let's show it. So the next couple games we play, they've got to prepare for that because they know it's in our bag of tricks, and they got to spend 25 minutes of practice time dealing with other defenses.
Yeah, they ran that against Liberty when they absolutely had to have it. They were down in the second half, and they needed some stops, and that's what they went to. You saw them go to that 2-2-1 full court pressure, and what that does, it doesn't allow teams to get in their offense. You got 30 seconds, and a lot of times you're getting down there running your sets with 14, 15 seconds, and it's just a lot tougher to get a good look at the basket. And I think that's a great strategy that Coach Wade can go to, especially when you got chances to run against teams like McNeese and really get a rhythm and knowing where guys should be and when they should trap and when they shouldn't and when they should play the passing lane. And so with the athletes that they have, a ton of guys who can really guard multiple positions, like I said, I think that those setup zones to put pressure on teams, it's going to give people some trouble.
Gaines is so fun when they play like this full court open defense, and he can just kind of play free safety and just kind of cheat and pick. Like he's fun to watch do that kind of stuff. Did y'all ever, on the football side of things, did y'all ever run things in games so that other teams would have to look at it on tape?
Oh yeah, 100%. A lot of stuff, especially in division games. You're going to see a team twice. You set them up with stuff. You run plays where hey, we got some trick plays off of this. We got some play action stuff off of this. You'll throw a couple runs in there. You'll run it. And then when you play them for the second time, you got the counter to that drawn up, and they give you a look that you want to have, then you have that play ready. So the same can be said for basketball. Obviously, what's your rotation? So you may rotate one way one game. You may trap in the corners one game, and then you may not. So there's a bunch of different things you can do, and I'm sure Will Wade's probably doing something similar.
Better believe it. 85-46, the final again. Just a game that's not very much fun, and Northwestern State coming up in a couple of weeks won't be much fun either. But the rest of the non-conference schedule is really good, and that starts on Monday. You've got a really talented team coming in, so can't wait to talk about that one next week. Let's take a timeout, come back. Luke Johnson from NOLA News and the New Orleans Advocate talking Saints and Eagles right here on Hunt and Hill.
Holding down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back, North Airway off of Airline Highway.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Tonight, we invite you to celebrate life, wherever and whenever you can, understanding that time is never on our side. Instead, gather up your friends tonight and share a few stories and laughs over a good bottle of wine. Or maybe a family meal that gives everyone a chance to reconnect and remember what's really important, whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or simply to remind someone special that they are loved. Ruffino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's round 2 of the Prep Football Playoffs, and we get you started with Louisiana Prep Preview Friday night at 6. Catholic High and St. Augustine kick off at 7, immediately followed by a full 2 hours of the Louisiana Prep School Board Show on YouTube, Your View, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Those of you who watched Tiger Zone a couple weeks ago, on video that got thousands of hits of my chair sinking into the ground, we may have another issue here. Kind of compromised. I'm sitting on the edge of it. Hopefully it doesn't sink down. But we've got an hour and a half left of this show, and I really don't want to stand up for the rest of it. So please keep me in your thoughts as you drive around Baton Rouge, and hopefully my chair holds out for the next hour and a half. Luke Johnson from NOLA News, New Orleans Advocate, covers the Saints, joins us now. Headed up to Philly for Saints and Eagles on Sunday. Luke, how's it going?
It's going great, man. I have a chair that works, so I'm like excited.
Look at you. What a joy. Up on you. Everybody ganging up on me. What's the cheesesteak order? Are we gonna make that happen here?
Yeah, got to get a whiz with, man. I don't know where we're gonna go, but whiz with. That's gonna be the order, and I'm gonna enjoy it, and I'll post a picture of it on Twitter, and I'll tag you in it.
I'm very jealous of my friends that cover the NFL, you, Hellman, because you get to like spend Saturdays in these really cool cities and do like cool things. That's a huge perk of the job, right?
It's the biggest perk of the job. I mean, granted the job itself is pretty good, but like, I'm gonna go get a cheesesteak, and then Jeff Duncan out there is like hooking us up with like temporary membership at this like crazy speakeasy. We're gonna go there on Saturday, and I'll tell you what, it beats the hell out of going to Starkville.
Look, I believe that very, very strongly. I love a good Starkville baseball weekend. The Starkville football weekend, that's just got to go. There's not enough room. There's not enough hotels. There's not enough. It's just not a spot I need to be. But let's talk about a little Saints and Eagles. We had Sharif Ishak on earlier this week. He said he can't come on Fridays anymore because it's bad luck, and he broke a gnome kicking it when they got the roughing the passer last week through his visor. Tough scene in the Ishak house. But I asked him if this was a must-win. He said yes. I think that word is overused all the time. Because they have a bunch of games to win against good teams, which they've already proven they can do. But with Buffalo and Dallas looming, this one feels pretty big.
Yeah, especially considering they've lost their last two. I mean, this is going to be a really tough game, and if they go up to Philly and drop this one, I mean, you could really potentially see them losing 5 straight, which is just like unheard of with the Saints team the last couple of years. So, I really do think that if they can go up there shorthanded, and they're probably going to be very shorthanded this week, if they can go up there and get a win, I think it like eliminates the possibility of a really long losing streak, and B, maybe just get some just positive forward momentum going into this really tough stretch. Because not only do they have 2 tough teams coming up after this, but they're going to be playing Buffalo in a short week. They're going to have another Thursday game the following week. It's kind of a weird mix-up in their schedule. So I think this week is really, really big. And look, I mean, you were right. Every single NFL game is important, right? All of them are must-win games, especially when you're talking about playoff seeding and all that stuff. But this one in particular, I mean, you can just see the dominoes that could fall if they drop this game. So they really need to go up and win this one.
You said very short-handed. Lay it on me.
All right, so right now, I mean, they're looking like they could be playing without their starting left tackle, their starting right tackle, their best overall player in Alvin Kamara, their most versatile offensive player in Taysom Hill, their sacks leader in Tano Passanio. I mean, they got a lot of guys who've been missing practice this week, and I just pulled up to the Saints facility right now. We're going out to practice in about 30 minutes, and I'm anticipating those guys are not going to be out there again, meaning they probably won't play on Sunday. Look, they've been dealing with injuries all year. It's kind of the reality of the business in the NFL, but it's really, really hard to replace Alvin Kamara and to replace your 2 starting tackles. And those guys aren't scrubs. They're all pro tackles. They're going to be very shorthanded, and they're already, without their starting quarterback, without their star receiver. It's really going to be incumbent on Sean Payton to put together a good game plan for those guys who are filling in to execute the best of their ability. And they're doing this against a Philly team that's been playing pretty well lately, and a Philly team that can control the game offensively with their really good run game. So, I mean, it's a huge challenge this week, man. Bigger than it otherwise would be.
Like you said, both tackles out, playing with a backup quarterback, your best player missing on offense in Alvin Kamara. How do you think Sean Payton attacks this Eagles defense?
Well, I think it's going to be a lot of what we've seen lately. They do not have any margin for mistakes and errors here. So I don't think we're going to see a super aggressive game plan because they can't turn the ball over. I think they're going to try to grind it out. And you rely on guys like Mark Ingram and maybe Deontay Harris can knock the top off the defense once or twice, and you can kind of get lucky there. But I mean, they can't go into this getting 4 or 5 offensive holding penalties and putting themselves in 3rd and long and putting themselves in position where they're making risky throws downfield, because I think every single possession is going to be super important in this game. And it's really, really tough when you're playing basically with both hands tied behind your back.
All right, the Saints, 58 players, they are accounting for $42.9 million in dead cap money. Do you think that hurts their chances of trying to improve this roster free agency-wise, or that's kind of how the Saints operate?
Yeah, I mean, they had the last 4 years of Drew Brees' career. They realized they hit on that 2017 draft class, and they're like, okay, we're going to maximize these 4 years. And they came really close to making a Super Bowl, but they didn't make it. And now they're kind of dealing with the consequences of that, right? They had to cut a number of guys this offseason because they could not afford to keep him. And they kind of built around this 2017 class, but a lot of those guys have been hurt. Michael Thomas wasn't part of the 17 class, but he's kind of in the same boat here. They signed him that big extension before the 19 season. So not only do they have all these guys who are counting against the salary cap that they had to release, and they had to push money to the back of their contract in the void years, so they're playing for other teams, they're still paying for them. You got all that, which is hard enough to navigate. And then you've got Michael Thomas making $20 million a year, $20 million this year. He's not going to play. Andres Pete is making $13 million a year. He's basically done for the year. Teron Armstead's making 15 or 16, and he's missed 3 or 4 games. All this stuff really starts to add up. Like when you don't have, or when you have that money allocated to players that aren't there, it makes the money that you allocate to the players who are there. You need those guys to play, and they're not playing right now, and it's really hurt them because it's hurt the depth of this team, and they're competitive. But it's made it really hard to navigate some of these injuries, and it's going to make it hard in future years because they're going to still have money committed to these guys that aren't on the team, and it's going to be really hard to kind of supplement your team through free agency. You really got to hit on the draft.
Luke Johnson is our guest. All right, Luke, I'll kind of give you an open-ended one here. Give me thoughts on Adam Troutman.
So I think Troutman is still he can still be a very good player. I think he showed it last year. He showed what he can be. And there's reason for them to still be excited about him. But I think he is so far in his own head right now. If I were the coach, and I said this to somebody earlier this week, but if I were Sean Payton, I would sit him down for a week. I'd deactivate him for this week's game. And I'd let him just get his head back straight because right now, I mean, it's everything, and it's all snowballing. It's penalties, it's drop passes, it's all these bad things they're standing out, and I think that stuff, as more and more of it happens, he's kind of spiraling right now. So it's way too early to cut bait on him. I know he's been very disappointing this year, but I think he still has potential to be a very good player. But they need to do something to get him back on the right track because right now he's absolutely going down the wrong path.
How do you think this Saints defense attack Jalen Hurts? Obviously, he loves to use his legs. Do you think the defense will be ready for that?
Yeah, I think so, and I think really the big thing for them is to just be very disciplined this week. That hurt them last year. I think they were a little bit over aggressive last year, and they left themselves open for Jalen to hurt him as a scrambler. He ran for 106 yards, and I don't know the exact stats on it, but probably like 70 of those yards or 80 of those yards were on scrambles. So I think that's the really big key is for those defensive linemen to stay disciplined, not go hunting for sacks, stay in their rush lanes and clog things up. And don't let them hurt you when the play breaks down. And I think that also applies to the secondary. They can't get over eager to go support the run and start creeping up toward the line of scrimmage because Philly's been a pretty good vertical passing team this year. They've taken advantage of teams wanting to take away the run game, and they've hit them over the top. So don't let them scramble. Clog the scrambling lanes up and keep them bottled up behind the line of scrimmage, and do not. Look to support the run game from the secondary. They got to keep their eyes downfield and not get hurt in that way. Because Saints have when they've been hurt defensively this year, they've been hurt on those explosive plays. They can't let that happen this week.
Enjoy the bourbon and cheesesteaks, Luke. We'll talk next week.
Sounds good, man.
Luke Johnson from the New Orleans Advocate and NOLA News. Saints and Eagles noon kick from Philly on Sunday. We'll come back, look at the rest of the NFL slate. It's Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
Really glad to tell you about Brake Medics at BrakeMedics.com. Look, they did it for me. They can do it for you. They come to your home and service your brakes. No driving to the repair shop. No sitting in the waiting room looking at old magazines, waiting for them to get to your car. They come to you. They came to me, pulled right up behind my car in the driveway, got the jack out, jacked it up, fixed the brakes. They were smoking when they came and knocked on my door and said, hey, we're all done. And they were done in just about an hour. They can do that for you. Go to brakemedics.com, input your car's make, model, some other details. They'll give you a quote to come out, and then they'll set us an appointment and come out, service your brakes from home. I know a lot of people are working from home these days. You can get that done while you're on the clock. I know a lot of people taking care of kids at home these days. They can handle you. Brakemedics.com, brakemedics.com. We make house calls.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back, North Airway off of Airline Highway. On Mondays off the bench, couple of battles with some birds of prey. How did the Saints fare against the Eagles and the Tigers against the Warhawks? Plus, brand new edition of Weekend Winners off the bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, let's blitz this NFL schedule here, Jeremy, as we close out hour number one. All the SEC action we will talk about at the beginning of hour number two. You know how the tier system works by now. Tier 4 is the worst games of the week. Tier 1 is must-see TV. We'll start in Tier 4 with the trash Texans at the Titans. The AFC South is just boring. The Titans have run for just 67.5 yards per game without Derrick Henry. Do you think they can keep it rolling without the ground game they had?
I think so. I think Tannehill's really been carrying that team, especially since the departure of Henry, and A.J. Brown stepped up a ton as well. So as long as Tannehill and A.J. Brown continue to hook up the way they do, they're going to continue to try to run it. It may not be as successful as it was with Henry, but I think Tannehill can carry them definitely through the Texans.
Dolphins are at the Jets. A lot made of the Jets quarterback situation. The Jets have allowed 43.8 points per game in their last 4. They're awful on both sides.
Yeah, you bring in a defensive head coach, and the defense looks like it's getting worse.
Yep.
But that's just where the Jets are. They've just not been good over the years. It seems like they've just been scrambling to be competitive, especially in the AFC East. So I think the Dolphins should come home with that one.
That's the trash can. Tier 3, not great. Ravens at the Bears. Bears offense the Bears are coming off a bye. The Ravens had a bad loss in Miami last week, but they ought to be able to handle Chicago.
Yeah, I think so. I think that defense, especially with a rookie quarterback, they should be able to hold Justin Fields down and allow their run game and Action Jackson to really take over. And I know that's a tough road loss that they want to get out of their mouth. So I think the Ravens will come out ready to go.
Nick Chubb back for the Browns. They are hosting the Lions, who are 30th in the league against the run.
Hey, the Lions, you think they won a game this year?
Yeah, they'll win a game.
Okay.
It's not going to be this one.
I'll tell you what, you said it first. You beat me to it. It won't be this week. I think the Browns definitely they definitely need to get back into their winning ways. And, man, look, you guys better look impressive because I'm going to have to snip off my Super Bowl list here. So, let's go, Baker.
The football team is at the Panthers' Cam Newton, Ron Rivera reunion.
Yeah, that's a Cam. He let the world know he's back, and I think they kind of put him in that Taysom Hill world last week, goal line situations, 3rd and 4th and short situations, and let that big body get rolling and put some play action stuff off of that. So I think that was a good hire to kind of give that team and that city some juice, and I'm excited to see how the Panthers go going forward.
I don't bet on the NFL, but if I did, I might take the Jags this week. San Francisco's coming off a short week, long flight all the way out east. Jags stink, but maybe they'll cover.
Cover? What's it? 6.5? I don't know. The team like the Jags, man, you really don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, you do. You're gonna get bad football.
Yeah, I guess so. So I mean, they found a way to take down Josh Allen. I would have never predicted that at any point in the season. I don't care if it's a short week, long week, 2 weeks off. I would never pick the Jags to beat the Bills. So maybe they can cover that.
I'll wager nothing on it, but all you people that are listening, wager on it and tell me how I did. Then tier 2, this is some better stuff here. Colts are at the Bills. As Jonathan Taylor's really been running the ball well. The Bills are statistically the best defense in the NFL.
Yeah, they've my boy Tre'Davious out there holding down the outside. Gotta love to see that. And I think for the Bills, just a couple inconsistent games that they want to kind of get off their resume and kind of get this thing rolling. And I think the Colts offense, if they can shut down Taylor, I think that's going to be big business for the Bills to finish that one.
Packers are at the Vikings. Minnesota has played in 8 one-score games. That is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they're a talented team. Obviously, their best edge rusher in Daniil, obviously just dealing with a ton of injuries, not really being able to have him. But their team is battled. When you got Jefferson and Thielen and Dalvin Cook, those are 3, elite weapons to have on the offensive side of the ball. So they're going to be competitive, especially at home. But I think Mr. John Wick is going to handle that one.
Bengals coming off a bye. They are at the Raiders. Both these teams need to win to keep pace in the playoff race over there in the AFC.
Yeah, a lot of people saying the Bengals are sipping too much of their own juice, man. You can't drink your own juice. There's nothing wrong with drinking someone else's. You can't drink your own juice. So I think the Bengals, they know how much talent they have on the roster. They kind of let a couple get away. I like the Bengals in this. I like Joey B bouncing back and having a day.
Cardinals are at the Seahawks. Cardinals have won 4 of 8 in Seattle, which I would not – 4 of 6, sorry. 4 of their last 6 in Seattle, which I would not have thought. We'll see if Kyler plays. We don't know yet.
Man, I had to sit Kyler down again in my fantasy, and we've just been getting our butts hit. Kyler, I need you. You're my keeper. I can't do anything without you. Come back. Get back to the lineup. Let's get back to our winning ways. But I think definitely without Kyler, I think this is set up for Russell Wilson to have a bounce-back game. A little rusty off his injury.
They didn't score last week.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A little rusty off his hiatus. But I think with Russell coming back and no Kyler, I think they can win that one at home.
Then tier 1, best stuff of the weekend. The Sunday night game is really good. Chargers at the Steelers. Big Ben back from COVID. Chargers slipping a little bit. Big one for both teams there.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one. Big game, especially for playoff implications, especially for wild card implications. You want to have that win, especially over the other team, because you feel like they're going to be there at the end, especially in the AFC that's so bunched up right now. But I got my man, the young buck in this one. I got Justin.
Do you hate the Steelers?
I wouldn't say hate.
You don't carry you have it from your college days, but you don't necessarily carry it from your pro days.
No, it's not too much. I mean, I had a strong dislike for them for a stretch there, but it's not too much hate there.
I understand. And the last one, Cowboys at the Chiefs. I think that's going to be a whale of a football game between two of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Oh, yeah, that's probably the game of the week right there. Everyone's going to be tuned in to see those offenses, especially just how Kansas City kind of had that bounce-back game last week. They're feeling like they're flying high, and they want to get this thing rolling back in the right direction. And so what a team to do it against. I mean, America's team, I guess we should say.
Mm-hmm. How about the Cowboys?
Yep, but I got the Cowboys here, actually.
Had Leo Collins on a little bit earlier this week. We'll see. Who you got in that game?
I got the Cowboys in that one. I think they're going to run the crap out of the ball with Zeke and Pollard, and I don't think the Chiefs' run defense is going to be able to stand at that. They're going to be able to play some time of possession. So I got the Cowboys in that one.
Losing team in my fantasy league has to buy Hooters for everyone for the draft the next year. Ugh. You want to avoid that if you possibly can. I'm in last right now, so I need Zeke and the boys to pick it up, and let's get some points. Let's win a couple games down the stretch. We're probably not making the playoffs, but we got to stay off the Hooters tab. That's just job number one of my fantasy squad, so get it together. Boys, fast moving first hour. Appreciate Luke Johnson for joining us, talking Saints and Eagles. Talked about the LSU McNeese basketball game as well, and some sound from Ed Ogeron's presser yesterday that knocked me off my feet. That's all in hour number one. If you missed it, you can catch it on demand at 1045ESPN.com or always on YouTube. That's stream driven by Bayou Ford. Tons to get to in the second hour as well. Talk about what's going on in the Southeastern Conference. Really good story by Brody Miller in The Advocate about how LSU's recruiting during this coaching change. We'll talk about that as well. Closing down on the weekend, it's a Friday edition of Hunt and Hill.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Tonight, we invite you to celebrate life, wherever and whenever you can, understanding that time is never on our side. Instead, gather up your friends tonight and share a few stories and laughs over a good bottle of wine. Or maybe a family meal that gives everyone a chance to reconnect and remember what's really important, whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or simply to remind someone special that they are loved. Ruffino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers.
1, 2, 3.
Hunt and Hill. Tom Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Best time of the work week after the lunch hour on Friday. We like that. We're counting down to a football weekend here in Baton Rouge, Hunt and Hill. Join us tomorrow on the airwaves. Make us part of your game day. LSU kicks off at 8 o'clock. Jeremy and Matt will be on Eagle 98.1 game day at 3. They'll be cranking things up from right here in the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. I will take over on the network from just outside of Tiger Stadium for LSU game day presented by Your View. We will be on the air at 6 o'clock until about 7:30. After the game, 30 minutes after it goes final, Brandon Taylor, Marlon Favorite, and myself will be taking your Twitter interaction. And then 90 minutes after the game goes final, when we're done, we'll toss it right back here to the studio to Charles Hannegriff and Richard Condon, who will be with you on Eagle 98.1 game day until the wee hours of Sunday morning. Let's talk about the rest of the games in the Southeastern Conference. It's that week every year prior to Thanksgiving, prior to rivalry week, where a lot of teams schedule non-conference games against teams that aren't very good. And that's the case with a lot of these games. We mentioned all this stuff on the Tiger Zone on Wednesday, but I know the audience rotates. So we'll go through some of this stuff again and kind of chat about the things that catch our eye. A couple of really good games, a couple of storylines. Look, Charleston Southern and Georgia is not interesting at all. My question is, does JT Daniels play? Because we always thought early in the season, okay, when Daniels gets back, and then all of a sudden Stetson Bennett has been awesome for Georgia, and we know he's not the most talented guy in the world. He's not going to set the world on fire at the combine or be a first-round pick, and we thought Daniels did have that ability, but at this point, you got to wonder if it's not just Stetson Bennett's team, which I think it is, but if you're going to get JT Daniels some time and he's healthy, Charleston Southern would be the time to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it would be, but also I think, too, the second part of that, do you want to risk getting your guy that you know is going to be a solid backup quarterback if anything happened to Stetson in a game against Charleston Southern? So I think you'll probably see Stetson, especially when things get ugly, which they will very quickly.
Yeah.
You may see JT, but I think they like what they see from Stetson. He's been taking over this team. Obviously, he has the number one team in the country and where they are now, so I don't know. I don't think you see much JT, and if you do, it'd be in route time.
Yep. Prairie View A&M is headed to College Station. Might be the shortest road trip on the schedule, unless Duke and North Carolina are playing each other this weekend. And I don't know if they actually Duke played last night, didn't they? So no, they're not. This has got to be the shortest road trip in the country this week. Prairie View is just south of College Station. Nothing super exciting here with the Aggies. I'm a little bit surprised. Didn't we think that Haynes King was coming back at some point this year, and he just hasn't?
Yeah, he hasn't. I haven't seen him suited up. I haven't seen much of him, and they've been rolling with the Calzada show. And I guess in College Station this week, the news of the week wasn't about Prairie View A&M. It was about Jimbo being the dumbest coach on earth. Yeah. So we'll see how that comes to fruition. But that's probably the talk of the town out there right now.
I will have a very keen interest in one aspect of this A&M Prairie View game. One very specific aspect. I need some Texas A&M defenders committing some targeting infractions in the second half of this game, baby, because we're coming for you in 10 days, and we want none of the smoke. We want your players to sit out the first half. So I'm looking for some targeting penalties. If you see some official that's calling that game, slip him a 20, told him I told you that we need some targeting fouls in the second half of that game, so A&M's got some guys sitting out in the first half against LSU. Tennessee State, 5-5 on the year. Mississippi State is bowl eligible. They are 6-4. Will Rogers, last week was evidence in that Auburn game that, and we saw it last year with KJ Costello in Tiger Stadium, when Leach's quarterback gets hot, it really is something. I've been really critical of Mike Leach. I don't think that Mississippi State has a very high ceiling with him. But look, right now, they're 6-4. They've won a couple really impressive games. They're ranked in the top 25 And I'll admit some things when I'm wrong, but when Rodgers got cooking against Auburn, they couldn't do anything. We saw it against Costello here in Baton Rouge. It's something to watch when they get rolling.
Yeah, it was definitely something to watch. I forget how much did Auburn get out to. Were they up 3 scores, almost 4 scores?
Well, 30 unanswered was what they gave up.
Yeah, so they were up 4 scores in that offense. You saw how powerful that offense is, and make you pick your poison. If you sit back and do what every team thinks is their kryptonite, which is rushing 3, they have no issues with that. Rodgers will sit back there, dink and dunk it all the way down the field. He'll win the time of possession, keep your offense off the field while they're moving the ball and making hay. So obviously when you run something against someone time and time again, the players get comfortable seeing it. They've seen it time and time again. So I think rushing 3 is probably not going to be the answer. I think Rodgers has figured that out, and you've seen their offense take off because of that.
New Mexico State against Kentucky. These are all 11 a.m. kickoffs. All these teams are like, look, we got these scrubs coming in. We're the only ones that have to play at 8 o'clock at night. Give me the 11 o'clock game for ULM, please. All right. New Mexico State and Kentucky. New Mexico State, the Aggies played in Tuscaloosa. They were catching 51.5 last week. I took them with no money on the stake, and they did not cover. This week, the Aggies are getting 36 points in Lexington against the 7-3 Cats. I have taken them again with no money. If they can't cover with getting 87 worth of points over 2 weeks, I will be disappointed.
Talk about back-to-back weeks, man. I guess in Mexico State getting a little chunk of cheese in their pocket, going up to Bryant Denny. Then now you're going to the infamous Kroger Field up in Lexington. But I got UK here, man. I saw nothing from New Mexico State last week to give me any ounce of hope that they're going to cover.
Hey, they were leading 3-0.
Yeah, that's about it. 3.
Then they didn't cover the 51.5. 54.5 at that point. They couldn't cover it. Look, if I'm the New Mexico State AD, I'm going up to Kentucky. I'm sipping a little Kentucky's finest bourbon in the AD suite, taking my check for $1.5 million, whatever it is, and getting on back to New Mexico after my team gets beat by 40. Yeah. All right, now into the SEC stuff. That starts at 2:30. Arkansas, number 21 in the country, fresh off an overtime win, obviously here in Baton Rouge against the Tide, ranked number 2 in the nation in the CFP. Alabama laying 20.5 in this one.
I love every bit of that 20.5, especially watching our C team go against KJ Jefferson and really make them struggle all game other than sacking them on the ground. That's the only thing I wish we did, but I got Alabama here. I think they're going to get the full attention of Nick and the crew. They're avoiding that rat poison all week, and they'll be ready to go. So I think they'll tie. They cover that 20.
Yeah, a lot of people will look at this and go, well, Alabama needs to look good for the playoff committee. No, they don't. They just have to win 3 games. That's all they have to do. They have to win. They have to beat Arkansas by 1, Auburn by 1, and Georgia by 1. They're in. Any of those don't go their way, they're out. That's all there is to it. So beauty pageant, not the case. It is sometimes, not the case this time around. So we'll see how that one goes. I kind of like Alabama to cover that 3-touchdown line. Just don't know if Arkansas's got the firepower to keep up with them unless they're playing Ole Miss. Florida and Missouri, 9-point line. The Gators are favored. I follow Nick Delatorre on Twitter. We've had him on this show before. I've had him on the pregame the last couple of years. He covers Florida for, I believe, the Rivals Network. And he was taking questions on the flight to Columbia today. And one person said, is this Mullen's game? And he said, I don't believe he will survive if they lose to Missouri.
Oh yeah. I saw that. I saw that report as well. He's on the big hot seat. You go up there to Missouri and you find a way to lose that game. That is not going to be good. You let the immortal Liam Welch drop 50 on you at home. You can't let that happen, Dan. So yeah, they're going to have to win this game, especially with Missouri's defense looking like they've looked all year. It's going to be a prime situation for that Florida administration to be looking at Dan Mullen.
I've used the Q word one time with one team. I'm very careful not to use quit. And clearly this LSU team, which has had his coach fired, everybody's gotten hurt, they have not quit. They're playing hard. They didn't quit last year. They won the last 2 games they played, obviously. It's very difficult when college athletes throw in the towel. Like, it doesn't happen very often. Ole Miss did it in 2011 with Houston Nutt. You remember that game? Went up to Oxford, threw a pick 6 the first play. LSU could have won that game 85-0 if they wanted to. I mean, it was they just did not care anymore. They knew Nutt was done. If Florida goes up there and loses this game by 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, I will use that word. I mean, there's no excuse for a team that still has a reasonable amount of talent to get throttled by South Carolina and Missouri. Now, there are favors in this game, but that I will use the word if Florida does that, and they will likely be in the market for a coach. That's very interesting. And look, if they fire, I mean, they don't have to fire him. Scott Strickland can know. that he's in the market. But that changes LSU's equation a little bit. I'm just telling you it does, because Florida's a job that can compete with LSU.
Oh, yeah, that definitely does, especially, we talk about, LSU being a blue blood. Florida's right up there. Just watch what they've done after the 21st century. They're one of the top programs in the country. You saw the height of heights that Urban Meyer got to that program. They've been trying to get back, and I know they're eager to get back. Their fans are very spoiled there. They want to be in national title contention, and Dan just hasn't had them there yet. Obviously, last year was a ton of success, but just not really able to get over the hump. So if you go from that to letting Sanford put 50 on you, you're going on the road getting your butts kicked by Jason Brown in South Carolina, and now you're going to Missouri and you're losing that too. That's not where the Gators want to be. So I would not be shocked if that administration moved on.
On to the 6 p.m. slate. That starts with Auburn at South Carolina. Look, it's not the end of the world if you win or lose this game if you're Auburn. But you do want to put a good impression out there in year one. And I just think dropping your 5th game here with Alabama coming up next, you lose a 6-6. That's, again, it doesn't mean that you've got the wrong guy in Brian Harsin, but it just feels like a game you need to win as you're laying the foundation of your program. You've got better players in South Carolina. You are going on the road. They're a 7.5-point favorite. South Carolina's probably feeling pretty good about themselves. They got to win one more to get into a bowl game. They got to beat Auburn at home, or they got to beat Clemson. Obviously, that's never been a game we gave them a shot in. They have won this year, but how do you feel about this one, Auburn laying 7.5?
I mean, there's been like 4, maybe 5 different Bo Nixes that I've watched this year. I wish I knew which one was showing up.
You're not getting one. He broke his foot.
He's out. He's out. We got TJ Finley. The TJ Finley Express has started. Okay, so I definitely got my my antennas up for this one. I think South Carolina may be able to pull this upset off, man. Especially the way they're feeling, knowing they got a bowl game. That's something that's huge for them, obviously, for LSU. We got to kind of wonder, do they care about a Carker Bowl? Like, is that something that gets their gears going? But for South Carolina, it definitely does. Sure. That's going to be huge for them. And I think I'm going to change that now. I think I got the Gamecocks here.
So, I mean, and we were talking about the foundation for Harsin. I guess Shane Beamer's doing the same thing. If you can boast wins over Auburn and Florida in year one, that's something to sell on the recruiting, on the recruiting trail. You got to find a hook there with something, because Clemson is your big brother at this point. But, big spot for first-year coaches there for sure. Vanderbilt is going to the Grove to play Ole Miss. I don't think Vanderbilt's quit. I just think they're awful. Ole Miss is laying 36.5 in this one. Rebs looking to win their 5th SEC game.
Nothing in my soul or my body will ever, I don't care if it's 100. All right, maybe 100 is too rich, but it's got to have to be somewhere around there for me to take the door. So I got Ole Miss all day in this one. Corral looks like he's getting a little more healthy as we go on through the back end of this season, and it's going to be huge for A&M to go into that Egg Bowl 9-2 with a chance to win 10 games. You would have thought the Rebels would be at 10 wins before the season. Just goes to show you what Kiffin has done, especially with a battered offense all year. To have them in contention, I'd be 10 wins, almost 11 wins. That's something you got to tip your cap to.
How about this? I don't mean to. In fact, I do. Remember we gave bold predictions before the season started?
Yep.
You said your bold prediction was Florida's going to win the East?
Yep.
How'd that work out?
Terrible. Terrible.
And then one of mine.
But this was what the take? We were going out on the limb.
Yeah, we were trying bold predictions. Bold predictions for sure. And my bold prediction was that Ole Miss would go 10-2, and Lane Kiffin would take the Michigan job. Now it might be 10-2, take the LSU job or the Miami job. So you look at that. What a prediction! I get everything right. Not even close. And South Alabama and Tennessee, the last one. Tennessee looks to get bowl eligible with this one. Certainly, you would anticipate they would. 28-point line, and really the story with Tennessee is just how much improved I think the offense has been with Hendon Hooker, as opposed to going with the Michigan transfer Milton.
Yeah, that you saw that offense give Alabama 3 quarters of work and had them kind of twirling their hips trying to figure that out. And I think that's just going to be way too much for South Alabama. You can't practice the speed that they're running. Hype was doing a good job of giving Tennessee an identity, something that you can recruit. And if I'm an offensive kid, especially in the Tennessee area, I know we're going to be running 70 to 80 plays. That's more opportunities for me to make one of those. So, yeah, I love what Tennessee's doing, and I think it's going to be way too much for South Alabama.
All right, I ask you every week, if I gave you the remote control, you can put it on a channel, I'm throwing it away. You get one game to watch this week in the SEC. What is it?
Alabama. I'm going to watch
Arkansas?
Alabama run through Arkansas. It's really sad. KJ, I'm sure Will Anderson's going to have no trouble getting KJ on the ground, so I'll be watching that.
He'll be back there, that's for sure.
Yeah, he'll definitely be back there.
Mine would be Florida, Missouri. I'm fascinated by what Florida's going to do. Speaking of not getting everything right, I thought Mullen was a superstar hire for Florida, and the bottom's fallen out in 3 years. So, I mean, we'll see. I'm very curious to see how that thing goes. If they get it on track and they win like they're supposed to, you know, and kind of put all your knives away. But look, pitchforks are coming out if Florida goes up there to Missouri and loses. And as I said, their beat writers are thinking they may pull the plug on Dan Mullen if it doesn't go well in Columbia. So that's a 3:00 start on SEC Network. I will be locked into that one before we get on the air at 6 p.m. for the pregame show. That's your look around the Southeastern Conference. We'll come back, talk a little bit about how LSU's going to recruit in the middle of this transition. A really good story by Brody Miller. That's next on Hunt and Hill.
Serving up the latest from the sports world. It's Hunt and Hill. We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I had to pack up all my things. I had to leave my home. And I never knew where I was going next. It felt like I never even had a say. But then you came along.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back North Airway off of Airline Highway.
Tonight, we invite you to celebrate life, wherever and whenever you can, understanding that time is never on our side. Instead, gather up your friends tonight and share a few stories and laughs over a good bottle of wine. Or maybe a family meal that gives everyone a chance to reconnect and remember what's really important, whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or simply to remind someone special that they are loved. Ruffino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for a Football Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We'll preview the biggest games of the weekend with Phil Steele. The Riot Radio Hours return. Join us Friday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Shout out to my guy Big Fave, Marlon Favorite, checking us out here on 1045ESPN.com. In town to watch his young one, De La Salle Cavaliers, playing the U-High Cubs tonight in playoff action. Should be awesome over there on LSU's campus at UI Stadium. Fave, if you're listening, just a little tip for tomorrow's pregame show. Our guest coach, assistant coach interview of the week is Tommy Moffitt, and I asked him last night on the record who he's taken in an arm wrestling competition, you or Brandon Taylor. The answer comes tomorrow on the postgame show. Hello, somebody. Who you got in the arm wrestling match between my co-hosts?
BT, man. BT could throw some weight around on that bench press, man. He probably still has some pythons underneath. So I'm going to have to go with Big Fave. I'm going with Big Fave here, man. Too much weight, man. Too much weight.
All right, we'll see the answer to that one tomorrow. We'll be on the air at 6 o'clock on the pregame show on the LSU Sports Radio Network. I saw an interesting piece by Brody Miller over at The Athletic. If you don't subscribe to The Athletic, they've got some great stuff over there. I would highly recommend doing it. And the piece was basically, how is LSU continuing to recruit while they're in the middle of a coaching transition? And he points out that really the straw stirring the drink right now is Austin Thomas. Austin Thomas, you know his story by now, very likely. He was at LSU, left to take a position at Texas A&M, Tennessee. He's been around, but has been at LSU now for a couple of years, and he is basically the general manager of the LSU football program, for lack of a better term. I'm sure he's got a title. But he is the guy who is on the front end of recruiting. They identify guys, they start contact, then they hand the things off to the coaches, and they build relationships from there. And the coaching staff certainly handles the lion's share of that afterward. But the thought is that Austin Thomas will likely be retained for the future because Scott Woodward brought him on. So right now, he's the one guy that the recruits can look to and say, yeah, he'll probably be here next year. And so, you know Austin, you've known him for a very long time. What kind of do you see his role as, and what kind of guy are we talking about here?
Yeah, that's how I grew to learn his role. I kind of just saw him in the building, was around him a ton, but really didn't know what he was doing. And then one of the games this year kind of brought up a running back. It's like, hey, this is Jeremy Hill, this is a recruit right here. Kind of introduced to him. So I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. So he's kind of just facilitating the recruiting thing, and that's so important. That can't go unannounced of how important it is to sustain those relationships, because a lot of these players, they have, a relationship with one, maybe two coaches on the staff. And obviously with those coaches being gone, you really don't have anyone at LSU that you know. And I've gone through that, as a recruit with a lot of schools. I remember when Urban left Florida and I was a recruit at the time, and I didn't know anyone on the staff anymore. I think Steve Adazio was a guy that was recruiting me, and once Urban left, I didn't know anyone. So it's so important to keep those relationships and really, make sure those players, have a peace and knowing that the next guy coming in is going to be a guy you can trust. And also you still have a guy like Austin there that you can trust as well.
Every time I'm up there on Wednesdays, Austin comes by, says, hey, he's just a great dude, and he does a great job. So the article goes on to say that, look, LSU's only lost one commitment since Austin's in contact with these guys, and the coaching staff is helping. Ed Ogeron's gotten on the phone a few times with some recruits and kind of talked them through some things. And Austin's basically telling them, hey, LSU is LSU. This brand is not going anywhere. Your brand's not changing as a high school player. This is still something you need to look into. And obviously the clock is ticking on LSU to get a new coach in there. But for the time being, right now, it's kind of being run through as in a recruiting perspective. Austin keeping in touch with people, passing things off to coaches who have some conversations here and there, building relationships. Because the odds are that most of this staff will move on. But the odds are also that there will be one or two, maybe three that stay. And so you got to continue to build relationships, continue to cultivate those things, and hope you can keep the class intact.
Yeah, and I'm sure these coaches wish they had a crystal ball and they knew that they're going to be retained to the staff. But unfortunately, you don't know. You don't know which coach. I would love for a guy like Corey Raymond to stick around, but we don't even know if he's going to be around. So it's important to have a system in place, kind of something that we've been talking about with this program over the past 4 or 5 months, is that the infrastructure, how are things being run? Do you have things set up the proper way? And I think this is a great idea by this administration or coaching staff to have a guy like Austin in place to keep these relationships with these recruits, because, man, it's kind of like a wildfire sometimes. If you get, some of these big guys at the top of this class jumping off board, then you can startly see this thing unravel. So keeping this thing together is going to be important to really sustain this class and really get some more guys to really solidify it.
Having been through this process, are you surprised that LSU has kept as many commitments as they have?
I'm not too surprised about it. Like I said, when I was a recruit, I did get to, witness, some of those teams. And obviously, that Troy game is the one that's in my memory. You have performances like that, but I said a ton of these guys, they don't care about that. They want to be the guys to turn this thing around. They want to have the opportunity to start and play for the Tigers and go back to their winning ways. So the purple and gold still means a ton. You got to still hold that standard of what that means to be a Tiger. And for a lot of these kids, that's really all they care about. And just having a guy as a coach that they can trust to really get them to the next level. And I don't think any of that stuff has changed. So that's kind of why you see this recruiting class kind of stick around where it is.
Another thing that was in the article, again, by Brody Miller over on The Athletic, that's very good, said they're not taking any commitments. That shouldn't come as a surprise, but they're not actively, out there recruiting people and taking commitments. They're just keeping the relationships they got in the class, maybe some top targets in state that haven't committed anywhere. They're keeping relationships there. So again, it's a little bit different, and you've got to make it the best of it. I was very adamant when people were saying they got to do this, they got to do that, because recruiting this, recruiting that, and I understand the thought process. But the fact of the matter is, when you decide to make a change in your football program, you compromise that class. It's just the way it goes. It doesn't mean you're not going to sign any good players. It doesn't mean you're not going to sign 25. It just means there may be some misses, there may be some defections. You may miss some guys that you would have had a really good chance on, but you've got to take that hit in order to restart this thing and keep it rolling. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah. My boy Semper in the Bayou Ford chat said something. I'm going to have to do some research on that, but he said that the administration said they're keeping Brad Davis and Corey Raymond. I don't know how much truth there is to that.
I've not seen that.
Yeah, I've not seen that. Normally they don't make decisions like that before a new coach goes on, because, there could be changes in philosophy or, just philosophies don't align. So I don't know how much truth there is to that, but I don't think that's the case right now. It could be. I have to do a little more digging, but I think it's important when you do make that decision to move on from a staff to keep your recruits in the state. I think it's so important, especially if you look at the 14 guys. All of the top guys are from this state other than Jake Johnson. So you got to keep those guys, and when you keep those guys, I think it'll be easier to solidify this class before the first signing day, and then you can probably really get some guys that you really want to have that's on the line on National Signing Day.
Dick Jones in the Bayou Ford chat says, come on, Hunt. LSU is going to get a certain amount of people just because they're the only school in the state. It doesn't matter who the coach is. I don't know that I said anything to the contrary on that.
I don't think so.
I mean, look, they've already had two guys that LSU wanted commit to Alabama and Texas A&M. You lost a receiver to Alabama. You lose a running back from Estruma to Texas A&M. I'm just saying that you're going to lose some guys. That's just part of this deal, but that's just part of it. You can't lose your mind every time something happens on the recruiting front in the middle of this transition, because it just is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you get it on both sides. I mean, we got a guy like Deion Smith on our roster. He was not going to be a Tiger at all to the last moment. So it goes back and forth both ways. I think you'll kind of get a better grasp on things once you get closer to the first signing day, and then obviously the big one on the second one. And then the new staff will have a chance to hit the portal and make some adjustments. So I'm not getting too up in arms about anything right now. It's still a ton of time left. We got an ample opportunity to bring a guy in that these recruits can fall in love with and get behind. So not too soon to get too worried up, Tiger fans.
For sure. Do some over-under. Closing out an hour number 2. We got 30 minutes left of the work week. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer. Jeremy Hill. Hunt and Hill. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
If you're in a
an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. And now 0% for 60 months on Ford.
Lock of the week, lock of the week, lock of the week. It's Lock of the Week Friday, presented by Tex Morris and Edward Jones Investments from Ruffino's on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 10 a.m. to noon. Lock of the week.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Out in the open field on a Friday, it's Hunt and Hill. We're going to play a little bit of over-under here today with my boy Jeremy. Let's start with the LSU football game. Go with Matt O'Dowd. He's now your backup quarterback since Garrett Nussmeier is redshirting. Completions in the game, 1.5.
Got to take the under here, man. I know it's year of the backup quarterbacks. You know, we got Mike White, Jason Brown. Now we got to throw Matt O'Dowd into the mix, but I'm going to take the under here on you, Matt.
I'm going over. I'm going over on this. I think he's going to play. I think they're going to give him a chance to throw a pass. He may never get the opportunity again. So he's a walk-on, young player. I think they're going to let him throw the football a little bit, and I think he will. I think he'll complete a couple passes. I'm telling you right now, this is a key for me to the game. If this thing gets out of hand in the fourth quarter, in the second half, really, get Max Johnson out of the game. I need Max Johnson for the Aggies next week. I want to beat them so bad I can't even see straight, and we can't do it with Matt O'Dowd playing because Max Johnson got hurt in the second half of a blowout against ULM. So, if we think this game, we haven't talked about this game at all this week. Literally haven't talked about it at all. That's the only thing I care about. No targeting penalties in the second half, and no Max Johnson getting hurt. I want the Aggies in Tiger Stadium with a chance to wreck their season.
I would love. How about this? Let me just set the scene for this. How about a walk-off kick by Cade York to send the Aggies packing? 4 losses to the season. We're bowl eligible. Everyone's feeling great.
You'll have to do the show Monday and Tuesday by yourself. I'll be on TexAgs. I won't be able to leave. I'll be sitting there like those videos you see on the internet. The guys who can't leave their computer, they're like playing World of Warcraft or whatever they're doing. I will be on TexAgs for 3 days straight if we beat them and send them to their 4th loss. It'll be too good. I won't be able to handle it. All right, back to the over-under stuff. Damone Clark tackles 11.5.
I'll take the over all day, man. Yeah. They're going to be running 8-chain Spiller, 8-chain Spiller. It's gonna
I'm talking about ULM, bro.
Oh, shoot. I see we were talking to A&M, so I'm sorry. I'm getting too ahead of myself.
It's Friday afternoon.
You set it up so perfectly to beat them. I just think we're about to beat the Aggies, man. Look, getting too excited. But, the Damone against ULM, the Warhawks. Yeah, I got over anyway. Yeah,
you
over
said he's behind one player in tackles nationally?
Yep, San Jose State. Got a guy with 3 more tackles than Damone right now. So, yeah, this is he has to finish this season strong. Then it'd be, no questions asked about it. No, nation leader and tackler on one of the bad defenses, and that defense had a revolt, and it was a lot to do with Damone Clark. So, his case is making its name for itself. So, you got to continue to rack those tackles up.
All right, let's move to the attendance side of things. In the middle of the fourth quarter, so let's say 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, sections in Tiger Stadium that are literally empty, not a single person in them. I'll go with 10.
10. Oh, not a single soul?
That's a lot. That's a lot.
I'm going to have not a single soul. I'm going to have to go 5. I'm going to have to
go 5. Go under. I mean, the upper deck, there will be a couple, for sure.
Yeah. Upper deck, there will be a couple, but I think you'll see one sprinkle, maybe a red shirt here, maybe a purple shirt there. We'll see.
We talked about this on Monday, I think. I can't remember, but it would surprise me if LSU came out firing on all cylinders this week. This is a bring your own energy game in the worst way, and it's just going to be hard. The weather's going to be really good, but it's going to be an empty stadium, ULM, coaches, but this is going to be a slog, I think. That's just my sense on it.
Yeah, I think you could, at the talent, and especially with our defense, I think I'm not worried about our defense. As crazy as it is, as out there as that sounds, I think our defense has got to come to play. And with that being said, I think ULM won't have enough. And the offensive and TDP, I think TDP is going to have a big game. I think that's what I'm predicting here. I predict TDP to have a big game. I think our defense is going to play like they've been playing the past 2 weeks. So that's going to set up for ULM to be in some trouble. So I'm taking the Tigers here. I'm not too worried about it.
All right, sticking with the attendance side of things, Purple and Gold World Series is this weekend out at the Box. 5 o'clock today, 11 o'clock on Saturday, and Sunday at noon. With the football weekend, actually even up my number here, with the football weekend in town, everybody's tailgating, 8 o'clock kickoff, the baseball game's at 11. Over-under for attendance at the Box this weekend, total in 3 games, 5,000.
Total. You said 3,000 last week for a scrimmage.
That was against UNO. That was against ULL, though. And there were some ULL people, and there was another team involved there.
All right. Golden Goal. I'll still take the over here. I think getting that number 1 signing class, I think that helps a little bit, bring a little juice to the Tigers baseball program. So I'll take the over. I'm feeling a little bullish about the Tiger baseball.
Get out to the Box this weekend. Again, 5 o'clock today. Going to be some great weather out there. Tomorrow, if you're coming in from out of town for the LSU football game, haven't had a chance to get over and see any fall baseball, or want to check out the team, want to see Coach Johnson, or have something to do with the kids while you're waiting for the game, look, at 11 o'clock first pitch out at the Box for tomorrow will be awesome. And then Sunday, it's at noon. Admission is totally free. Parking is totally free. Just go over there to the Box, go on in. You can check out the Tigers scrimmaging. It's going to be a fun atmosphere out there. The players are coaching, and the coaches stay out of it. It's the players on players, and they've got something for the winner, something if you lose. It's a fun atmosphere out there for some fall baseball. So go ahead and check all that out. All right, let's keep it rolling with the over-under. This is some SEC stuff. Matt Corral, total offense against Vanderbilt, 480 yards.
Ooh, Vanderbilt over. over.
He's got to stay in the game a long time for that to happen.
The only thing that's scary, they could score really fast and get that thing to 35-40 and then start looking towards that egg bowl. That's the only thing that gives me a little cause for concern, but I got to take over anything with the doors involved.
Charleston Southern, points scored in the game by Charleston Southern. 0.5 is your over-under. They're playing Georgia.
Will they score? I'll take the over here. I have to. It's just – there's no way I can say I know it's Charleston Southern, but just kick a field goal. I mean, we got teams trying to, get their goal line package in when they're losing by 40 against Georgia just to get points on the board. It's a sad scene out there, but I got Charleston Southern here with look, can you get a safety, maybe a field goal?
I don't think they're going to get a safety.
Yeah, probably not, but yeah, just get a 3, man. 3. Garbage time 3, we're good to go.
All right, one more here in the over-under. Jalen Hurts, rushing yards, Saints' best rush defense in the conference. Jalen Hurts averages 55 rushing yards a game. I'll put it at 50. I'll take 5 off his average for the Saints run D.
Man, he had a big day against them last year, so I know they're going to, get a little more of the Saints' undivided attention. So I'll take the under there. I think that they know how important it is to contain him, make him beat you from the pocket. I think they'll be having some contained rushes, maybe a spy, get a little DeMario, a little Quan looking after Hurts and making sure he doesn't use his legs. So, yeah, I got the under there.
Do they spy in the NFL? I feel like that's more of a college thing.
It depends on who it is. I've seen teams do it against Lamar a ton. I mean, it just depends on the quarterback.
It's pretty smart. But
yeah. If a quarterback is known for that, you'll see it, especially on third down. But, yeah, Hurts is a guy you definitely probably want to put one of those out there for.
The thing about the Saints being statistically the best run defense in the conference and why you may throw a little bit of that out, if they do some read option stuff, that's running into the teeth of the defense. That's where it counts. But, a lot of Jalen stuff's off schedule. There's just nothing there, so he's got to tuck it. And that – I mean, obviously it is a standard of how good your defense is if you can come and tackle that, but it's stuff that it's hard to prepare for because you don't know when and where he's going. So it's just a matter of can you read and react. I think the Saints have great linebacker play, which certainly helps that, but it's tough to prepare for sure.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is, especially with a team like the Saints who run a ton of man-to-man, which means no one's looking at the quarterback. They're looking at their man and trying to cover him down the field, which gives up those huge rushing lanes, especially for a Saints defense who runs a ton of man-to-man coverage. So it's going to be up to the defensive line to keep their rush lanes and up to the linebackers to, if they do have a spy, to make sure they're looking at the quarterback and really, try to keep Hurts in the pocket.
Have you ever had a real Philly cheesesteak, from Philly?
Nope. I've actually never been to Philadelphia before.
Really?
Yeah, one of the few cities in this great country that I've never been to. Yeah, never been to Philly. I got to go try one of those cheesesteaks out.
I'm scared to go to Philly and eat a cheesesteak because I don't like onions, and I would have to say no onions, and I think they would throw stuff at me. They're not the nicest people up there. And I do want the steak and I want the cheese and the delicious bread and I want to eat. That's all well and good. I just don't like onions. I don't want grilled onions on my sandwich. So I'm scared. I don't know how they would react to that. Something tells me not good.
Yeah, that's definitely probably something you don't want to do there. I'm sure they're cooking that meat with the onions at the same time. It's not like something they slap on after. So I guess it just comes with the whole thing, comes with the whole deal.
Onions suck, peppers suck, mushrooms suck. I don't want to hear about it. People in the chat, all that stuff's no good. Not good to eat. Don't want it. Come back and close out Hunt and Hill.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Forgot about the live there. It's not good. FanDuel. Been telling you about the FanDuel Sportsbook for a couple of weeks, and that go-live date is quickly approaching. So you need to download the FanDuel Sportsbook. Go ahead and create your account for free. They'll give you $100 in site credit. $100, promo code WNXX. Telling you about it every single day. Really easy to use, really easy to navigate. You can bet on basketball, football, soccer, baseball. Everything's on there, and they're boosting your odds, boosting your specials every week so you can multiply that cash. They got live betting. If you're watching a game, see a trend you like, place a bet. And they'll pay you when you win in about 2 hours. FanDuel Sportsbook, safe, secure, 100% legal, and regulated. So see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Download the free app and get $100 in free site credit. You must be 21 and present in Louisiana. Bonus is issued on a non-withdrawable site credit that expires 7 days after FanDuel accepts its first real money sports wager in Louisiana. Unique user identity verification is required. The offer ends on the go-live date. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back North Airway off of Airline Highway.
Tonight, we invite you to celebrate life, wherever and whenever you can, understanding that time is never on our side. Instead, gather up your friends tonight and share a few stories and laughs over a good bottle of wine. Or maybe a family meal that gives everyone a chance to reconnect and remember what's really important, whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or simply to remind someone special that they are loved. Rafino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
With Louisiana Prep Preview, Friday night at 6. Catholic High and St. Augustine kick off at 7, immediately followed by a full 2 hours of the Louisiana Prep School Board show. On YouTube, Your View, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I'm getting crushed in the Bayou Fort chat for my food preferences. No, I don't eat onion rings. They're onions. I'm not eating that crap.
Man, you're missing out, man. You said no peppers, no mushrooms.
No mushrooms.
Man, we got to get you on the stove, man. You got to mix it up in there, man. It's so much flavor. Come on, man.
Now, look, I'm making gumbo on Sunday. It's going to be 100 degrees. It's going to be like 80, and I've got to make gumbo because my wife wants to decorate the house for Christmas. If she wants to do that, she's 7 months pregnant, we're going to do that. And I do put bell peppers and green onions and white onions and all that stuff in my gumbo, but that cooks for 5 hours, so I can't taste it. I hate the texture of onions, like the crunch. It's awful. Like, there's nothing worse than when I was a kid and I'd go through the McDonald's drive-thru and get a burger and I'd bite into it without looking and they didn't take the onions off, and I would just I'd almost vomit.
So no difference between sauteed and just regular onions. No go all the way around.
No go all the way around on the onions. Not fried, not sauteed, not grilled, not nothing.
Oh man, you're missing out, man. You gotta broaden your horizons a little bit.
No, my horizons are good. I got them right where I want them.
All right.
Interestingly, I do love I love broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, green beans. I love Brussels sprouts. Cooked Brussels sprouts 2 nights ago. I was getting my life insurance physical yesterday, And so I wanted to trick it and be healthy for one meal before. And so I ate a bowl of Brussels sprouts for dinner on Friday night. I'm sure I really tricked him.
Oh, man, yeah, that's probably a good one. Last minute right before. That's the perfect timing right there.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's killing me, but that's all right. I am what I am. That's all that I am. That's what, I think Popeye said that. Susan, take it or leave it.
All right, let's roll. All right, Lane Kiffin. He was pumping Arch Manning, taking advantage of the new recruiting rules that allows college coaches to promote high school games. Are you taking or leaving the NCAA allowing college coaches to tweet about amateur athletes?
Sure. I mean, I'll take it. I don't have a huge. I don't have a huge issue with it. It's funny that Lane Kiffin's only following one person on Instagram. It's Arch Manning. It's funny. He's trying as hard as he can. We'll see what happens with Arch Manning. That'll be really fascinating to see where he ends up. But I'm fine with it. I'm fine with all Lane's social media stuff. I think it's funny. I think he's self-aware. All the stuff that I make fun of Hugh Freeze about, Lane Kiffin is the opposite. He just knows who he is, and he's out there, and that's what he's going to be. And I'm all for that, so I'm with it.
Yeah, I hate to cut you off right there, but I gotta tip my cap to Lane too. He's giving out defensive advice, man. Come on, you're just doing it all this year, Lane. Gotta tip my cap to that. Thank you, Lane.
Oh, if you missed that, it was at the top of the show, and I just cannot believe what I heard in the press conference yesterday. The NFL is doubling down on their taunting emphasis from the preseason, sending out a memo to all 32 teams. Taking or leaving this taunting emphasis is good for the game of football.
I'm leaving it. Like, what are we doing? Like, we got referees bumping into players, trying to throw these taunting flags. It's nonstop. Let the guys have fun a little bit. You make a play, it's okay to do a little taunting. I think you just go back to the old days. Let guys have a little fun. It'll be okay, man. Football's a very energetic, passionate games. Guys get emotional sometimes. Sometimes you have a little taunting. It shouldn't allow a team to extend a drive when they got stopped and didn't deserve a first down. You're just giving away first downs. We got to fix this, man. We got to chill out on the emphasis. Let guys, I know some taunting is over the top, but all the little stuff we got to do away with.
Very rarely is the internet 100% in agreement on anything. I mean, Twitter's ablaze right now, but everyone agrees with this. Like, it's a stupid rule. Everyone sees it. And I think it's going to be like the pass interference challenge thing that came in for a year. They realized they couldn't do it, and they scrapped it. I think they're going to do it again this year. Everyone hates it, but that opinion's probably wrong in terms of they're going to fix it when they're, as you said, doubling down on what they're doing with the memo to the 32 teams. So maybe, I guess, the dorks on Wall Street are excited about it, but nobody else cares. Like, we want to watch guys dance and have fun.
Look, no fun league. That should never be anyone's name. Come on, NFL. We got to fix that. All right, here we go. Bryce Harper, he wins the NL MVP, edging out Fernando Tatis Jr. and Juan Soto. Are you taking or leaving? Bryce deserved to win the NL MVP.
I'm going to leave that. I would have gone Juan Soto. The funny thing is that none of these guys' teams were any good. The Phillies were on the way, they were competitive to September, and the Braves kind of ran away from them. The Padres completely fell apart with Tatis, and Juan Soto's national teams punted. They sent him Scherzer to Dodgers. So that's usually you're talking about guys on really good teams winning MVPs. I don't necessarily believe that's got to be the case, but no, I would have gone with Juan Soto there. I think he's the best young hitter in baseball. I could be persuaded to some other guys. Certainly Tatis. Obviously you've seen what Guerrero did this year was phenomenal. I love the Braves. Ozzie Albies and obviously Acuna, who was hurt. But I might take Soto over all of them. He's awesome. Steve Nash says the Brooklyn Nets are not in the same category as the Golden State Warriors, who have the NBA's best 13-2 record. Taking or leaving, the Nets aren't contenders, and Steve Nash needs to be saying that.
I'll leave it for now. I think you don't know enough about this Nets team with probably one of their best players who, having a little hiatus right now. Sipping a little Kyrie juice right now, not really being with the team. Stephen A. just went all anarchy on Kyrie yesterday, saying Kevin should leave the team and all these things. But I think when you're not at full capacity, you're trying to figure things out. It can be rough and it can look tough, but if they can somehow figure out, maybe get some assets for Kyrie or maybe get him back, I think the Nets are right there. But just not the team that you thought going into the season.
Let me go off topic here for a second. Not that you know Kyrie, but I think we know the answer based on his past history. But do you think Kyrie Irving, if he doesn't play this year and sits out, do you think in 20 years he'll look back and say, man, I really, really should have gotten with it and played with that team?
I think so. I think.
See, I don't, because he's so hard-headed.
I think when you're young, you only got so many years to be in your prime.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the thing. Like, you're only in your prime once, and it's a small window, and then when you throw injuries in there, it could be even smaller. So I think for Kyrie, he obviously has a championship already, which probably hasn't made him eager enough like maybe a James Harden would be to go win that. But I think when you look back, man, you're going to see, man, I'm not that young kid, not that young Uncle Drew anymore. I probably should have been out there playing with my teammates. So I think there'll be some regret there, but knowing the way Kyrie, then Mr. Earth Flat, probably not, actually.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's just kind of been his track record. I mean, you were a perfect person to speak to this, a year and a half out from the league. Like, it can end pretty quick. And it's just, I mean, it just feels like you're letting time waste.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think when you're playing a team sport, I think you got to have to sacrifice some things, especially, when you have to put the team first. And I don't think Kyrie's done that. Obviously, he has, done what he's done for whatever reason and personal reasons, which you have to respect and all. But I don't know. I just know that Nets team would be a lot different if Mr. Uncle Drew was out there playing.
One more.
We got one more. Okay, Rob Manfred. He says a lockout could actually help with the new collective bargaining agreement with baseball moving forward. Are you taking or leaving a lockout is good for Major League Baseball?
Well, I'm going to leave that. Lockout's not good for Major League Baseball, but I've been paying pretty close attention to this. Obviously, if there's a work stoppage in baseball, I want to know about it because that is unacceptable to me because I need the Cubs to come back. But everyone seems from the GM meetings last week seems to be in agreement there will be a work stoppage at December 1st when this bargaining agreement runs out. But also everyone believes they will get back for spring training. It shouldn't be more than a couple of months to figure this thing out. They're not there yet, and you've only got 11 days to get it done. So I don't expect that to happen, but hopefully they get it in gear. All right, that's it for us on a Friday edition of Hunt and Hill. If you missed anything, it's all on demand. We talked a little bit about LSU and McNeese on the hardwood in the first hour. Luke Johnson talking Saints and Eagles. A little bit about Austin Thomas and the SEC slate a little bit earlier in this hour, some over-under as well. Jeremy's on at 3 tomorrow on Eagle 98.1 Game Day. I will take over at 6 o'clock. LSU and ULM, Saints and Eagles. Lock it in. It's going to be a fun weekend. Matt Moscona is going to drive you home from 3 to 6. Louisiana Prep preview, some high school football, Louisiana Prep scoreboard coming up later this evening. But next, coming up, your early line with Mario and Musso. Those guys will get you ready for a full weekend of football and basketball coming up next. We have enjoyed it. We will see you Monday around the Ed Ogeron press conference. I'm Hunt Palmer. That's Jeremy Hill.